If you've been following the podcast for a while, you'll know that a little while back, I announced I was talking to investors about my startup AI Box. We ended up getting such a huge influx of people talking to us that we kind of changed our strategy regarding fundraising, and we have a really exciting announcement coming soon. But if you were an investor that had previously reached out to me and jumped on a call, make sure to reach out again. I have some really exciting news to give to you, or if you're an investor today looking to invest in an absolutely groundbreaking AI startup, I'm going to leave my email, jaden@aibox.ai, in the description, and I'll give you the inside scoop. Today on the podcast, we are talking about an AI startup that has just raised $35 million. It's called Darrow, and it is doing this for an AI that parses public documents for class action lawsuit potential. This, I think, is a really interesting use case. We've seen a ton of different areas where AI is really kind of merging with the legal profession. And even recently, we had the CEO of Casetext, right? They sold to Thomson Reuters for $650 million in cash. And that was Jake Heller. He recently came on and talked about a bunch of the different ways he sees AI making a big play in the law field. So today on the podcast, we're going to be diving into this new AI startup. Perhaps it's the new Casetext, the next $650 million acquisition. We will see, but let's dive into it and see what they're going to be doing with this $35 million in fresh funding. Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app, or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. In a country of America where the legal industry is a really bustling marketplace worth tens of billions of dollars, AI startup Darrow is leveraging data insights to make its mark. Now, this is kind of something that's interesting for me. I'm coming from Canada. Those that don't know, I am an immigrant to the great nation of America. And that was one thing that always kind of surprised me about the U.S., the United States, is how much they love to litigate things like lawsuits. I remember growing up in Canada hearing stories about how like somebody spilt hot coffee on their lap at McDonald's and sued McDonald's and won because they needed to put like a label on the coffee cup that says hot, and me just thinking like, what the heck is going on in America? Those people are crazy. They sue for everything. That was my perception. If you're from America, don't be offended. Unless you want to be, then you're welcome to be offended. But I just remember thinking that was crazy. So definitely lawsuits, litigation, very popular in America in a way that it is not popular in other countries, Europe, Canada, other places. I'm not sure about everywhere in the world, but many places. I've lived in Europe for a number of years. I've lived in Canada. I've lived in the South Pacific. Not a lot of litigation going on down there. But in any case, very interesting. And that brings a really big market for AI in legal stuff. So Darrow just raised $35 million in funding, and this round comes on the heels of some significant achievements as Darrow's analytics have already contributed to active cases amounting to approximately $10 billion in claims. I really do love it when companies do this. I feel like it's so creative. It's like, don't tell me how much like revenue your company's making. Just tell me like an unrelated metric that makes you sound really cool. Like we've contributed to active cases amounting to $10 billion in claims. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Not to take a dig at Darrow. If I was Darrow, I would do the same thing. So I love the creativity here. And I think it does kind of, I guess on the bright side, it does kind of show you a bit of a broad overview of how important, or maybe not important, but impactful their tech is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to value that compared to any other normal company that's not doing AI stuff, how many billions of dollars in claims they're touching. In any case, this is a Series B funding round, and it was spearheaded by B2B-focused Georgian and included participation from F2, Entree Capital, and MTX. So to date, Darrow's total fundraising efforts have netted it around just under $90 million. They have a bunch of different investors, including Y Combinator and R Squared Ventures. They were actually founded back in 2020. This isn't that old of a company. It's a New York City-based startup, and it also has a presence in Tel Aviv. So Iatar Ben Arzi is Darrow's CEO, and he observed a digital transformation in the legal sector, which was accelerated by the pandemic. And he says really that he believes lawyers kind of increasingly turn to online platforms to discover potential cases. So the startup's growth is evident. Around 50 law firms are already using Darrow's platform to be more proactive in their case discovery process. You know, a company I want to hear an update on is Harvey. I remember hearing that Harvey had like 15,000 law firms on their wait list. I don't know if they've launched yet. I probably should look into that. But anyways, that their CEO recently said is, quote, "In a world where there's abundant legal labor wanting to be deployed, we want to be the go-to for law firms." He also kind of elaborated that the platform aims to expand its LLM to detect a broad range of violation contributing to what he describes as the, quote, "most pressing matters of society." So I think kind of against the, contrary to perceptions that may frame Darrow as like a facilitator of potentially frivolous lawsuits, the startup takes a bit of a different stance. The platform serves as what it calls a justice intelligence hub and is leveraging predictive analytics to identify legal violations and possible litigations. By doing so, it aims to level the playing field, allowing smaller firms to take on impactful cases that are often monopolized by larger firms due to resource constraints. A lot of people will have criticism to that. I'm sure you understand my opinion because of my whole monologue at the beginning about spilling coffee on yourself and suing for it. It's an interesting company, right? Like they got a hub that's telling you there's a bunch of potential violations from companies. Here's a bunch of potential lawsuits. Here's your likelihood of winning those lawsuits. And in their I guess philosophy is that there's a bunch of people in a bunch of lawyers that are just sitting around wanting to be deployed, and they're bringing them some cases. They're bringing them the juicy people to sue. I'm not going to say victims. Maybe these people are bad people. I don't know. They're bringing them some juicy cases to sue. It just sounds so funny to me. I'm sure to you all it's like normal or whatever. I'm the crazy one. That's okay. In any case, Darrow's technology, essentially what it's doing is it's aggregating data from multitude of public sources ranging from news outlets, social media, to regulatory filings and court records. And the data is then processed to identify patterns indicative of legal violations. The platform also provides potential legal outcomes and valuations for cases, assisting lawyers in the review and discovery process. Oh man, I love the word discovery process. Like for, when you're doing a case, it is the discovery process, right? You're like figuring out all the data, all the info you can on the case to but usually it's like you have a client bring you the case and then you choose to take it on and then you go through the discovery process. I love the concept of discovery process. Like this platform is going to go through a discovery process to discover all the people they can sue and then they give it to you. Something about that makes me smile. In any case, the company isn't just a black box of algorithms. It employs a bunch of different legal data specialists, including former lawyers who review and interpret the platform's findings. The firm has already pinpointed various issues from environmental violations and personal data breaches to wage disparities and antitrust concerns. For now, Darrow is focused on the legal industry as its primary customer base, obviously, right? Those are the people that are going to pay it for these fresh leads, capitalizing on law firms' growing comfort with AI tools. So the startup is kind of looking at the possibilities of creating a consumer portal in the long run, emphasizing that giving individuals a stronger legal voice is part of its grand vision. That, I think, is a bit more of a noble cause, in my opinion. I think it's cool, right? You have some sort of problem. You don't know if you're going to actually be able to win a lawsuit, so you go and give all your data to a platform, and it tells you like your odds of like winning a lawsuit. I don't know. That sounds a little bit better if it's like a person with an actual issue they bring there. So Gila Hayat, who is Darrow's CTO, noted that their approach stemmed from personal experience, saying, quote, "He's the litigator and I'm the angry consumer, and my contributions here was software," she said, highlighting their founder's kind of diverse skill set. So Margot Wu, who is the lead investor from Georgium, praised Darrow for identifying a gap in the $63 billion class and mass action market, saying, quote, "The company's mission-driven team of lawyers, technologists, and product developers were a key reason to invest. With its unique blend of data analytics and a mission-driven focus, Darrow seems well-positioned to reshape how the legal industry kind of approaches class action lawsuits. I think it's going to give some smaller players a chance to enter the spotlight, as they say, or, become customers to them. And I think as the startup progresses, its adherence to what it believes are its core values and ideals, I think are likely going to be deciding factors in its long-term impact and success. How they play out with this whole thing, I wonder what their fees are charging for a juicy lawsuit. Maybe they take a commission on it when it's settled. In any case, very interesting company. And I know that you probably listened to me mock the concept a little bit. But overall, I do think this is a very innovative concept. Whether I agree with coming up with things to litigate for the sake of it is, of course, my opinion that may or may not be based in justifiable facts. But I think this really is, I think it's an innovative concept, 100%. So investors putting money into this, I don't think they're going wrong. I think this is probably a company that's going to be very successful. So definitely something that'll be interesting to follow. And it's been a lot of fun covering.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.